how do we support the customer? How do we address the needs of the customer? But how do we expand? How do we generate also revenue? So that is another way that culture, like a culture that is focused on markets, can actually increase performance. So again, I've given a few examples, but here I gave an example of how culture affected some organizations and ended up failing. For example, entrepreneurial organizations that did not adopt cultures that embrace competitiveness and entrepreneurship collapse. For example, Uber, GE, and then Sears failed to change their organization cultures. Uber faced a series of scandals and controversies due to its aggressive and toxic culture, which it attempted to reform by hiring a new CEO and introducing new values and policies. So those are the 5 key ways. So now I try to briefly talk about culture influencing on performance. So for part B of the question, I actually summarize it. But before I summarize, I said it is not uncommon for organizational cultures to be changed. Culture change can be motivated by various reasons, such as mergers, acquisitions, leadership transition, manage crisis situations, innovation goals, strategic shift to, for example, to maximize profitability. And this relates to to this question actually. Sometimes when you are moving from organization that is from a public sector to profit making, now here you're looking at profitability. So how do you get a culture that looks at that? So I shared a few steps that a manager can undertake to transform an organization to have entrepreneurial culture. One, realign the vision, mission, and values to match that of an entrepreneurial organization in reference to its need. So this is sometimes common. You go to an organization, they talk about probably giving service to people, but they don't talk about how that service is given. So it does not talk about the business aspect. So at the end of the day, when you try to bring a new culture, which does not match with the goals, so you will not at the end of the day achieve your goals. Again, spell out clearly the new culture that organization needs to embody. Yes, this one I was talking about that if when it is decided this is the model or the way our culture should move, this one needs now to be spoken out. Let it be in documents, let it be discussed by staff, let it be branded, let it be posted everywhere within probably the organization and all that. So it encourages for staff to come on board and actually practice it. And then as a manager, probably as you're opening meetings or you're making your submissions, you need to make emphasis about the culture, the key aspects about the culture. If the culture is the customer is our first priority, then every time you talk about anything either around performance, around what, you talk about customer as being a priority and how we need to handle that customer. So that one can be talked about. And then of course, realigning metrics to make it compatible with the new culture. Yes, sometimes if when you go now to a profit-making organization and transforming their culture, now the culture you are putting on should be in line to the systems that are available. For example, the structure of reporting, the processes that are there. For example, if you say in our culture, the minimum time a document should move from one desk to another should be at least 30 minutes. So now in your processes, you should make sure that there are no delays. The people can easily push those documents very fast, or you need to develop channels how that documents can move in a faster way. So that's what I'm referring to here. And then again, identify inconsistencies and deviations from the new culture and address them. Yes, as you're bringing, of course, new culture, there will be gaps here and there. So you need to look at them and make sure that you address them there and then. And that can help now for the culture to be more clearer. Then another one is the create and reward and whistleblower process. Yes, if you see there are people who identify very well or who embody the culture very well, talk freely about them and say, look at if the culture is to look very presentable and business attire all the day. This is very common in banks. So if there is that person that always looks in a business approach, the way they handle themselves, they say, yeah, that's our culture. That's how we're supposed to be. So identify those people out, let them be very seen within the organization, allow them to be the role models, allow them to walk the talk, to be the ambassadors for the culture. And then in case there are also people who are trying to reject the culture, there must be a system how this comes up, because you might be bringing this new culture, but there are people who are actually saying, no, we can't do that. So the system should be able to identify those, and then you talk to them or you find a way how to handle it. Then respond to environmental changes that warrant new behaviors. Yes. So even when you have completed to establish the culture, it's well known. At some point, because this is a changing world, changing environment and all that. So you should be able to adapt and see how you can change your culture to match the times. Again, for example, those days for you to withdraw money, you needed to be physically in the bank. But now with the technology, with the times moving, people can access things remotely. So now your culture should be able to embrace that. If a customer needs to do transaction in online and the customer is our priority, how are we going to do that remotely? So the culture should be able to move and talk about that or consider that perspective. So I must agree that I didn't put a conclusion, but I think we can pick a good one from other colleagues and then we add on to our work. The references are there. One thing I noted also in other works for in our members in the group, they didn't use automated reference managers. Maybe another day, for if there are those who don't know how to get automated reference manager, I can share that knowledge with us. Yeah. So thank you. Any question, clarity, addition are welcome. Yeah.
Gerald, first scroll up a bit on your work, on your screen.
I'm trying to do that. Are we there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jennifer was asking me to scroll. I don't know to which part.
Okay.
Part A or part B of the question?
Part B of your work.
Okay, it is part B is mostly there.
Okay, just there.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's fine, eh? Okay.
Okay. So I think most of us there's a way we are rushing in part B, eh?
Okay.
Because I think most of us just are like we're just outlining. Now you see you are explaining, but if you are even here, I was not trying to look for the explanations. I'm not seeing.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And then even Christine, I think, did the same. They were
That
just
is
like outlines. So I think we really need to put more effort in that part. Eh?
okay.
Part B of the question to explain.
That's well noted. Okay.
And then I think Yes, and then also another thing, I think that since they have said you as a manager,
Mm-hmm.
so that the language we are using should be considered. For
Oh,
example, like realign the vision, mission, and values to match that of an entrepreneurial organization in reference to its niche. And then last time they warned us about using certain words, complex English. So I think when compiling, and you're laughing, even
when I
the
start,
lecturer might not know.
sorry.
But those were just tips I think that they were sharing when we are doing our work to take note of.
Okay.
So like when we are discussing like part B, maybe we can we can really bring out that part that has a manager, because like
Mm,
not just realigning the vision, mission, and values of an organization, at least in the explanation, it should
mm.
show that you've related to yourself. Okay.
Yes, I agree
Mm.
with you.
That is
Mm.
what I wanted. Yes.
Okay.
Then also I think of all the presentations, it's Gerard that really explained so well part A with examples. Most of us didn't have examples in. Yes. So Gerard, would you mind sharing my work I present? Then we
Y-
can
y-
now agree on the final.
yes, thank you. Let me stop sharing and then I allow you to present. Unless there's somebody else has
Oh, you
a.
can just share until you're on the forum. I can just be seeing from there. You just open mine
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
share.
I can open yours and